My question for you is, what would you do as governor to help improve the prospects of education and careers for people with disabilities? And how would you work with the states and with private enterprise to do so? Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I appreciate the question. It's something that when I was a candidate for governor, I interacted with families of people that had disabilities, or different abilities is a better way to say it, and I learned so much. And because of that listening and learning, I got to be governor at a time when we transformed many of the programs, both for work as well as support for families. And thanks to the members of the legislature, we did this. Conservatives, there were 31,000 families that were on a waiting list to get on the Medicaid waiver program, for example. The biggest fear that many of these families had was whether they were going to outlive their child, who was an adult. I mean, man, if we can't take care of those people first, I don't know who we are as a nation. So we did it in Florida, and I'm proud of the fact that it was a conservative legislature with a conservative governor that took a program that was about ready to be taken over by the federal courts and made it a model for the rest of the country. I think the great opportunity in this country, back to the idea that everybody has value, everybody can make a difference, is to assure that happens. And one of the places where it languishes is in work. And there's a place where the federal government can play a big role in providing both funding of existing funding programs, but also just getting people, bringing people together. I shop at Publix. You're not lucky to have Publix. The Floridians in the room know it's a pretty good supermarket. It's a private business. It's well regarded, and they hire more people with disabilities than any company probably in the United States. And I think they do it. They probably started doing it because it was the right thing to do, kind of, social conscience and the like. But they quickly realized this was really smart business, because people feel better when they go as a customer and see someone who's physically disabled or intellectually disabled in some fashion. They bring joy to the workplace. They add value. They're not a problem. They're not a liability. They're an asset. So if you start with the premise that people all have God-given abilities, and it naturally then you move to how do we make sure that those abilities are maximized. And across the spectrum of all these government programs, you can make a much better difference than we're making now. I appreciate your work and appreciate you asking the question.
Thank you, Governor.
You cannot insult your way to the presidency. You can't disparage women, Hispanics, disabled people. Who is he kidding? This country is far better than that. And the idea that he's actually running for president and insulting people is deeply discouraging, to be honest with you. And I think we should reject that out of hand. I hope you're going to reject it by voting for me. But a guy like that should not be the front-running candidate of our great party. That is not how we live. I gave myself therapy there. Thank you for allowing me to do that.